We go to this one real bohemian type club. We leave this place. We go to this other restaurant called Flat 44. We go to this bar, this restaurant, and I'm sitting at the corner of the bar, and we're smoking cigarettes and trading cigarettes and doing shots and just having a hell of a time. And this girl walks up to me, and she says, "Would you like to dance?" And I said, "I would love to dance." So they're in this bar. They've got this band playing. They're playing Jewish jazz, it's called. It's got piano, accordion, clarinet, and a fiddle. And they're playing in a space the size of a bathtub. And we get out and we start dancing. We start swing dancing, playing around, whatever. And she's got a unique accent. So I go to her. I said, "Okay, so what's your story?" And she says, "Well, I own this place." I said, "Well, it's going to get better. The night's going to get better as we go." So we chatted for about 10 minutes, and then she got busy doing something, and we part ways. So a couple days later, we exchange email addresses, and we hook up, and we go have coffee at Starbucks in Moscow. This is in Moscow. And says, "Okay, Luchia, tell me your story. What's the deal?" Well, Russia's got 3 or 4 major dates over the last 100 years that has impacted the way they view the world. And the most recent one was in 1998, even more significant than the fall of the Iron Curtain. 1998, Russia defaulted on pretty much all of its international currency. And the value of the ruble fell from X down to about 10 or 15% of its value. And I don't care what job you had in Russia. Someone walked into your office and said, "I'm sorry, we don't have any money, you're fired. Or you can work here, but we can't pay you." Well, and that happened in 1998. After the fall of the Soviet Union, one of the things that happened in Russia, more so than anywhere else in the world, because of this freedom and mobility, the divorce rate skyrocketed. And it went to about 60% of the married couples in Russia are now divorced. Well, anyway, Russia does not offer any kind of social support for divorcees there. So anyway, Luchia, recently divorced, has 2 children from 2 different husbands. She's a bartender. 1998. She got another friend of hers who's divorced, has a child, and another friend of hers who is divorced and has a child. One girl works at a hotel and does nails at a salon. One girl cuts hair at a hair salon. And Luchia is a bartender. The 3 of these adults and 4 kids move into one apartment together. They live together. They take a pickle jar. They put this pickle jar on the table, just like this pitcher. And they take their tips and they put them in this pickle jar. The one who does nails teaches people to do nails. The one who does hair teaches people to do hair. And Luchia is paying attention to how a bar is run from her vantage point of being a bartender. Okay, so 3 years later, they opened the first of what is now a chain of My Fair Lady nail and hair salons in Moscow. And the week after I left, they were having their grand opening for their second Flat 44 bar. Hugely successful entrepreneurs in that 10-year span of time. And I'm sitting there in just total amazement of her story. And I said, "How'd you do it? How did you do it?" And she says, "Ron, we didn't know what we could do, and we didn't know what we couldn't do. We just knew we had to do something. And this is our something." So, you think about that when life gets a little tough for you and what you can and cannot accomplish. And